I woke up from a 9-month coma to the kind of bad joke you'd expect in a B movie. Except it was my real life, and the punchline was 400 total strangers throwing a luau on my private island. I'm not talking about a few lost hikers roasting marshmallows. These people had built a full-on beach resort, tiki bar, volleyball nets, where my old lighthouse stood proud. Now there was a neon sign flashing sunset specials. The HOA president herself greeted me with a smile that could cut glass and said, "Decker Rethel died last October. You must be confused." Except I was standing right there, very much alive, and about to make her very, very sorry. She tried to erase me, but she had no clue who she was messing with. I still tasted hospital disinfectant on my tongue as the Coast Guard medevac helicopter circled my so-called sanctuary. Lake Celestial stretched below, a perfect mirror, Missouri blue sky overhead. Dead center was my island, the only thing in the world that was truly mine. That lighthouse wasn't just an old tower. It was my family's legacy, and I'd fought hard to keep it. Years of sacrifice, repairs, and paperwork. But as the chopper came lower, I spotted it. Unfamiliar colors, weird shapes, laughter drifting from the trees. The island looked all wrong. If you've ever wondered what happens when someone literally steals your life while you're out cold, well, strap in. This is about to get a whole lot crazier. I'm Decker Rethel, 38, ex-Coast Guard intelligence, and up until 9 months ago, sole owner of Beacon Island. Or so I thought. The medics helped me out, my legs felt like jelly, but my mind was working overtime. There was a brand new carved wood sign where nothing but rock and wildflowers used to be. Celestial Beach Resort, private HOA, members only. Skin badge for access. The pilot, a sharp-eyed woman with sergeant stripes, clocked my confusion. "Sir, are you sure this is the right location? GPS says private property, but this looks like a resort." She was trying to be polite. I dragged my cane into the sand that was never supposed to be here. The granite ledges, my old sunrise spot, were now buried under imported white powder and dotted with matching umbrellas and beach chairs, not a speck out of place. The lighthouse, my lighthouse, looked gutted. Solar panels now covered the gallery, the old glass beacon swapped for a cell tower. And that damn tiki bar, bamboo stools, neon, people everywhere. My hands were shaking as I reached for my deed, stashed in a waterproof case. The paperwork was all there: deed, survey, Coast Guard agreements, 47 acres of island, water rights, lighthouse facility, all in my name. All legal. All mine. Laughter rolled over from the lake. Jet skis, pontoon boats circling the island like sharks. Kids splashed where I'd once watched the sunrise in silence. The pilot's radio crackled. "Sir, I'm getting a call from the HOA president. Says there's been a misunderstanding." Right then, a yacht the size of a small hotel came slicing up from the southeast, name painted in gold across the stern, Sovereign. On board, 3 people disembarked with the kind of smooth confidence that said lawyered up and bulletproof. 2 men in logo polos, and in the middle, a tall woman with silver blonde hair and a blazer worth more than my boat. She walked straight at me like she owned the place. I recognized the type. Never had to fight for anything. Just took what she wanted. "Good afternoon," she called out, voice buttery and confident. "I'm afraid there's been a little confusion. This is private property of the Celestial Shores Homeowners Association. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." My jaw almost hit the sand. "Ma'am, I'm Decker Rethel. I own this island." Her eyes flickered. Not fear, more like mild amusement. "I'm sorry, but that's impossible. Decker Rethel died last October. We have the death certificate on file." That one sentence almost dropped me. My legs went out. "What did you just say?" "You must be confused, sir," she went on, her voice that phony kind people use with children. "Decker Rothwell passed away, complications from his accident. Very sad. But his property was transferred under emergency stewardship." Her bodyguard stepped in, radio ready. "Ma'am, should I call the authorities?" The pilot intervened, her hand hovering near her weapon. "Hold on. I flew this man from the VA hospital under orders from Coast Guard Command. His identity is confirmed through multiple channels. If he's supposed to be dead, we have a serious problem." For the first time, Lysandra's smile cracked. "Oh my, what a situation. I'm sure it's just a paperwork mix-up." She called someone on her phone, perfectly calm. "Yes, this is Lysandra Blackmore, president of the HOA. We have a situation at Beacon Island. A gentleman claiming to be the deceased owner. Yes, I'll hold. She turned back to me. After poor Decker's passing, the county was grateful for our improvements. The property was decaying, dangerous, so we turned it into something beautiful. For the community. Her words made my skin crawl. Manufactured beaches, snack bars, changing rooms. This had all been built in the last 9 months? How long have I been dead exactly? I asked. She barely blinked. Since October 15th, tragic accident. The funeral was small, but dignified. My pilot was already on her own radio, voice low and urgent. Identity confirmed, possible fraud investigation. Lysandra slipped her phone away. The sheriff's department will be here soon. I'm afraid you'll have to wait here for your own safety. The bodyguards spread out, casual but blocking any exit. Not subtle. I studied Lysandra. She was cool, controlled, but every so often her gaze flicked to the lighthouse with the cold calculation of someone running numbers in her head. What have you done to the lighthouse? I asked. Oh, we've modernized it. New equipment, safer for boaters. We use it for weddings and events now. The word events nearly choked me. My beacon, reduced to a party venue. 2 sheriff boats arrived, uniforms bristling, joined by a third boat with a man whose posture screamed military. Lysandra gestured at me, all fake politeness. Officers, this is the gentleman. As you know, Mr. Rethel died in October. The deputy looked at my IDs, military, medical, license, all legit. Another man snapped pictures, but the one with the silver hair and dead eyes, he just watched me, sizing me up. Well, the deputy said finally, this is unusual. But we have official records showing Decker Rethel died. Body was identified by his sister. My throat closed up. Vera, where is she? Lysandra checked her phone. Moved back to Portland. Except she'd lived in Missouri for 5 years. The pilot stepped forward, voice steely. This man's identity is verified by biometrics, fingerprints, DNA. If someone's declared dead who's standing here alive, this is a federal matter. The silver-haired guy finally spoke, soft and dangerous. What kind of federal matter? The pilot's reply was just as quiet. The kind that involves falsifying government documents and defrauding military personnel. The back and forth got tense. Captain Hicks, the spook, introduced himself. I didn't know the name, but he had intelligence community written all over him. Lysandra tried to play it off, laughing. The lighthouse was decommissioned. All permits and approvals, completely above board. Except I'd maintained the light right up until my accident. Show me the order, I demanded. Hicks stepped in. Sir, let's sort this out at the station. But Lysandra had another idea. We're hosting a little gathering tonight. Why don't you join us? Like I had any real choice. More boats arrived, loaded with families, coolers, wine. They set up like they'd done it 100 times. The pilot watched it all, her hand never far from her radio. As the sun went down, it hit me. This wasn't just a party. This was a presentation. Lysandra wanted to prove to everyone, especially me, that her version of the island was the real one. But the granite had been buried, the shoreline bulldozed, the wildness scrubbed clean for Instagram. As the jazz music played, as couples posed for selfies in front of the lighthouse, Lysandra watched me, waiting for me to break. But I wasn't dead, and I wasn't giving up. And as the sky turned dark, boats idled at the edge of the party. Boats full of people who didn't look like guests. The pilot sidled up, tense. Sir, you need to be careful. The kind of people who can fake your death can make you disappear for real. The island wasn't just a resort. It was a front, a hub for something bigger, dirtier, and a whole lot more profitable. The lighthouse went dark, then blazed to life with a coded pattern. Morse code, coordinates for boats running without lights. Smuggling. The pilot recorded everything, her equipment transmitting evidence in real time. Captain Hicks appeared, radio in hand, reporting in coded phrases about the package and containment. It was never about a party. They'd turned my island into a criminal command center. I broke away from the pilot. She tried to stop me, but I had to see for myself. I made for my old supply bunker, only to find the door open and voices below. Inside, the place was transformed. Monitors everywhere, maps of shipping lanes, financial records, even dossiers on me and other property owners. I found the file, Rothwell, Decker, the fake accident report, the altered death certificate, the forged signatures. My own sister had ID'd a body based on personal effects, never saw me in person. Then came the real punch. My Coast Guard record, my intel background, references to operations that weren't supposed to exist. Somebody high up had sold me out. Pricks cornered me in the bunker, flanked by tactical goons. Your island died with you last October. Now please cooperate. The pilot was at the door, weapon drawn, outnumbered but defiant. Then the radios crackled. Beacon Base, this is Task Force 7. You are surrounded. Real agents this time. FBI, DEA, Coast Guard, the works. The smugglers tried to set off explosives to destroy evidence, but they couldn't wipe it all before the feds stormed in. Pricks tried for one last power play, a dead man's switch, only to be stared down by a steel-eyed FBI agent, and, in a twist that nearly buckled my knees, my old commander from Coast Guard Intelligence, Knox Sterling. In the end, they arrested everyone, over 300 people in 12 states. Lysandra Blackmore, Captain Hicks, and all their cronies. My sister was found safe, relocated under fake witness protection. The network that had erased me was taken down by the very agencies I'd once worked for. My island was restored. The lighthouse relit. Real beacon, real navigation, real history. 6 months later, I stood on the deck watching sunrise, the manufactured beach gone, wildflowers back where they belonged. The property was now a protected federal site. The bunker used to train new agents on how to spot and stop the very fraud that almost stole my life. Sergeant Martinez, the helicopter pilot who'd saved me, stuck around, became head of island security, and maybe more. The Rathel Foundation launched to help others like me, people erased by greed and corruption. The lighthouse conspiracy dominated national headlines. Congress passed new laws to lock down property and death records. 12 other dead owners came back, reunited with their families. Money can't buy back lost years, but it can build a future, one where people like Lysandra Blackmore can't just rewrite your story. In the end, the most satisfying moment wasn't watching them get led away in cuffs or hearing the judge say life without parole. It was standing in my lighthouse, home again, alive, watching the sun cut through the last fog on Lake Celestial. If someone tried to erase you, your name, your legacy, your story, what would you do? Let me know in the comments, because as for me, I came back from the dead, and I took it all back. And some victories. Yeah, they're worth fighting for, no matter what it costs.